Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good morning, everyone. Can you see the slideshow, guys?
Yeah, can Doctor.
Right. So I just want to share to some of you. I just want to share to you guys on the poster presentation and also model making presentation. But this one is basically based on my previous lecture during the measure drawing. Measure drawing, the measure drawing subject, you will have this subject during your second year and third semester, during the short semester. Okay. But during that time, we have all this poster design and also model making and so on. But for these 2 years, because of this pandemic, we cannot afford to have this kind of presentation and so on. So we only done with our monograph, something like book publication. Okay, but hopefully after this, when you are going to your third semester later, you will have a chance to go to the site and also to do your measure drawing later, right? So because of this measure drawing, it has something which is related to your project one. I think it's better if I explain to you some of these elements that we are expecting you to do for your poster presentation and also your model making, right?
Dr. Fawaz, the logo.
Yes. Do you know him?
Yes. Yeah, previously he's our first year lecturer. Our first year lecturer.
First year lecturer? Or you still
Yeah,
during your
diploma. My diploma.
okay.
Yeah, my lecturer first year.
Okay, I was his partner during this time. We do the measure drawing
Wow.
together. We co-supervise. I am co-supervising his students, something like that. Okay, so we collaborate with each other. So this is my logo, the first one, and then this one is, you know him, Fawazul Khair, Professor Madya, Associate Professor Fawazul Khair. Oh no, that one is you during your UTMJB, right?
Yeah, my diploma first year UTMJB.
Is it you?
That time he's
Hmm.
my lecturer. He's quite a good lecturer for teaching us how to uh about the heritage. Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
talk to you how to do the good poster presentation and so on?
Got. He is very particular with the graphic design of the logo design there.
Good. So this
Yeah.
presentation also is combination between me and him. I think some of
Ooh.
after this you will have you will know which one is him, right? You know,
Ooh,
you see
okay,
the
right. Can.
the third logo, work base Fawaz fight. We have
Wow.
this logo for our work base, right?
Yeah.
We can have this one too for your base for our base this semester, but I don't know who are going to do this, right? So, right, what is a poster? Okay, because this one is only an overview. Perhaps I don't want to go into very detail, but just as you to know what is the function of a poster, right? It can be also defined as a placard, printed or handwritten notice or sign for public display, generally printed in large format paper, printed reproduction. It needs to have text, photograph, and illustration. Okay, for instance, this one is one of the poster provided by Pepsi. Okay, so this is the two different poster, although you have the same brand, but the way how people that the designer want to show this kind of brand or the strength of each product is different. Okay, perhaps this one is done by one designer and this one is done by another designer, but they has the different uh tastes and preferences, although they require to maintain the same color scheme, for instance, right? Color scheme, the font that they use and so on, just like yours, because you need to maintain your group presentation, right? You need to have the same template and so on, but different people will have different way or different approach on how to do their presentation board. Okay, aim of poster is to attract the attention of the passerby. Successful to attract, then message can be delivered. So this kind of this is a poster of a film. Okay, the Lord of the Rings. I think you already watched all this film and series and so on, right? Even though this one that you, if you see the second one is only one big round thing showing the ring, but it is very powerful. Although it is only using um, this kind of shape just to represent the whole story. Okay, it can be as simple as this. Super Size Me. This one is on another poster for a film. A film of epic portion supersize me. Okay, main character who has a lot of chips in his mouth just to indicate that it attract the attention of the audience, reflect what the documentary is all about. It is all about eating fatty food. Okay, they have all this kind of French fries putting into his mouth and so on. And then if you can see from this text that they use, okay, if you can see from here, this one is one text, this one is another, this one is another. So usually for this large bold capitalized supersize me because it want to indicate this one is the topic, sorry, the title of this film. Okay, so that's why it has this one is the biggest font, right? And it is also bold because we don't want them to compete with each other. Okay, they cannot compete with this one because this one is only supporting things that they want to add on, but this one is the main thing, right? So same as like your poster later, the main title should be the biggest one, the bold one, right? But the small detail you can do just in smaller font, right? And okay, this one is another an alternative poster. Ronald McDonald is typically rather skinny, seeing an obese version catching attention, showing what the unhealthy food really does to your body. Okay, this one is another way on how they want to attract people to see, to watch whatever they are producing. Okay, so because usually Ronald McDonald is very skinny, but they make it into this kind of obesity thingy so that they will attract all this audience to see their film. Okay, what makes a good poster? It should be attention grabbing, express fact or ideas clearly, convincing and memorable. Okay. Okay. This one is the evolution of poster, right? This one is made on the 1963, and this one is the produced by on the 2019. Okay, so there are difference between these two, basically based on this the technology that they can use. Okay, for instance, they don't have this kind of something like we have today, the graphic softwares who can support all this kind of graphic design and so on, right? What are the roles of a poster? It can be for advertisement, it can be for information and knowledge base, communication, announcement, motivational, decoration, and also for art. Okay, this one is also the same kind of example. How do you want to produce a poster? But it is two different poster, but it is talking about the same thing. Total recall, all right? So these two poster, they have this their own strength. For instance, this one they are talking about this man behind it. This one is the main character, but they also have this supporting character, all right? And then for this one, it is only focusing on one main actor who is the main focus of this film, right? This one is the function for advertisement. It can be to promote public interest, to communicate, selling, and persuading people to buy the product or business or war and propaganda. Okay. Okay, this one. What logo is this? What logo is this?
Android.
Android, right? So, this one is produced by Apple. If it's not an apple, it is not an apple. However, in whatever things you do, if you want to get an apple, you cannot get it. But because this one is Android, okay, I'm not sure. I think this one is not an official poster by Apple, because it can be something like provocation for those who are using Android and so on. Okay, information and knowledge base. It can be in terms of types, chemistry table. Right. This one is something which is related to your presentation board, because you are going to present your information, those information that based on your findings, all right, on the traditional Malay house, traditional Japanese house, and also traditional Thailand, the one that you have in Thailand, the most, right? So how do you want to present it in your presentation later? So you need to know all the things that you want to create as the main focus, for instance. So perhaps the perspective of the most is the biggest one, but the small detail, you are only putting it in very small scale, right? Communication and announcement. This one is for the exhibition. It can be for a movie. It can be for a show or a concert. Okay. This one is example of they were talking about the poster. Okay, so this event will be held on Saturday, 28 August and so on. So this one, how do they do the poster and so on. This one currently, we have this kind of, before this, during my time in UTM, during my degree time, we have this one subject called as graphic communication. So we need to, our task is we need to design our own superheroes character, right? And we need to produce a comic for it. So it was a very interesting subject during those days, but we haven't have it now. Okay, and then we do this model presentation, and we do all this exhibition at our faculty, right? So this one is very interesting. This one is one of the character, the superhero, Asian superhero, or more or less it is more on the Malay land heroes, Malaya heroes, something like that. Okay, so they have set the theme, and we need to produce our superhero and also our poster and also model presentation. Okay, this one is a motivational poster. Okay, and it has usually will have a direct direction. Okay, decoration and arts, to decorate, as to give aspiration for the visualization. Okay, for instance, this one, they were talking about freedom of speech. Okay, but they want to show some irony about it. Okay, they put this birds with this bird is cannot get its freedom, all right? But this one is talking about freedom of speech. So this kind of poster is very powerful, because it try to make us to think. Okay, it is not directly, it is not something like very literal translation. You were talking about freedom of speech, and then you just showing this kind of microphone. But instead of just showing the kind of microphone, and you can see this kind of contradicting things in contrast with it, right? Freedom of expression, this one is also the same thing. It is putting in a pencil, but somebody is trapped in this uh, kind of pencil, which look like a prison, right? Type of poster design, it can be basically based on photograph, illustration, graphic, and also typo, or it can be also the typo combination of these three things: photograph, illustration, and also the text. For instance, these are the example of the poster which has the combination of all these three. Okay, for instance, the first one is a combination of photography and type and text. This one is illustration and text, and the third one is on text only, right? But it is presented something like a very illustration. Okay? Photograph, illustration, graphic. So how do you this image has led to sale of hundreds of thousands of posters and stickers, has become so much in demand that copies signed Panther has been purchased for thousands on eBay. Okay. This one is something like this one is sorry. This one is taken from a photograph, but somebody has transformed it into a digital illustration. So there are something like there are contradicting in terms of copyright, because somebody who is somebody else is doing the photograph and somebody else is doing the graphic design. Illustration, graphic, symmetry, asymmetry, action, subject. Okay, this one also the same thing. So all of these things that you can brought into your presentation boards later, okay, you will need to know what is the main thing that you want to show your audience. Okay, for instance, like I said before, this one is the second one. This one is the main thing that you want to people to see. The first one, because it is very big, it is red in color in contrast with its background. Okay, and then the topic, the title that it shows here is very bold and big, so everybody will focus on this one first before they are reading this smaller font. Okay, this one is on the typo, on the text, letters. It can be letters and calligraphy. Okay, this one is also using only the lettering. Okay, but the lettering is converted into something which is in a graphic representation. The same like the third one. It is only an illustration of lettering, but it is turned into something which is we can appreciate more. All right. You imagine if you are only reading the one that is located above it. Sorry, below. All right. So it is very boring, but they have some of kind of inserting something like this kind of lettering and so on, to make it more interesting. All right. Combination. This one is combination of the three. Okay, if you can see from here, this one is also very interesting because it shows that um they want us to think of it. Okay, how this person can be upside down and so on. Right. So this one is also the same thing. This is a combination between photography, illustration, and text. Right. So these are the things that you need to consider in making a poster. All right. You need to have the composition, layout, picture of subject, color, elements of design, breathing space and white space, and two-third rule apply to photography poster, for instance. So this one is an example of how we want to create a two-third rule. Okay. You need to create this grid of three, and then you are taking two-third of this grid. All right. If you can see from here, the one from Dr. Hamzuri on the crease. Okay. But this one, the second one is it is one-third rule. Okay, because you are only taking one-third of the overall poster grid. Okay, and if you can see from here, like I said before, you are only also creating some kind of braiding space. For instance, this one is black in color, nothing in between, right? Because this one is what we call as braiding space, ruang untuk bernafas, braiding. Okay, so this one is also empty space. What happen if we put everything in everywhere? What happen if we put three third rule? Are you with me, guys?
Listening, doctor.
Yes. What happen if we put everything everywhere?
It's not nampak sepah.
Nampak sepah. Okay, it will be very
Messy.
very messy. Right. Okay. is very messy, and we cannot focus on what are the things that which is the most important things that we want to focus. Okay. And also, during your while you are using your Adobe Photoshop, I think I'm not sure if everybody is using the reference line. Are you using this one while making your presentation board?
Yes. The grid
This
line.
reference line and the grid line? So you need to have this one because you need to make sure that everything is in order. Okay, for instance, for this one, for careers, it can be something over here. Okay, because the wording is located, should be placed on top of this line, but it is at the same time, it is the same as this careers. Okay, you have the same kind of so that it will be more balanced. Okay, this one is also the same example, right? It's like elements of this such as texture. Okay, these are the things that also can be put in your presentation board later, all right? You can have texture, contrast, repetition, harmony, symmetry, and so on. So all these principles also can be seen in this example, right? The texture is located on the moon. You can see the contrast on color, repetition of these bats. Okay, they repeated the same bats all over, and then it create the harmony and symmetry, and also it can be the combination of both. For illustration, you should also have this kind of colors, give meanings and create moods. For instance, okay, this one is talking about the Godfather. Okay, it is talking about an American crime or mafia film, widely regarded as one of the greatest film in the world cinema and one of the most influential, especially in the gangster genre. Okay, so that's why this poster is only using this kind of dark color, very dull, very very kind of gloomy. Okay, because they were talking about this kind of mafia, okay, and crime and so on. But what happened if you use this kind of colors? What you feel this one if I change it into pink color? It becoming more softer. It not a crime kind of film anymore, right? So this kind of color is not very suitable for this kind of film, right? How about this one, a Black Panther? What is a Black Panther movie? Anyone watch this kind of movie before this? What is a Black Panther?
It's a superhero.
Superhero? What kind of superhero? I think it is something with regarding the types of traditional
Yeah.
tribes and so on, right? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's very. This one is also the same thing like the Godfather before this. Is very apa? This thing is very alright. So what happened if we paint it into with the pink color? It becomes the Pink Panther. Okay, so it create the different mood. So that's why you need to have the choice of the color scheme that you need to be suitable to your kind of the things that you want to present. For instance, you are talking about this kind of a mosque, the Patani mosque, right? Teluk Manuk mosque. And then what kind of scheme color that you will need to choose in order to to bring the soul, the the mood for the people who are going to uh, going to watch your presentation later, right? So this one is the breathing space. Like I said before, it is a white space in between the poster. For instance, this one, they have a big ruang rehat, okay, a big breathing space over here because we want our eyes to rest, okay? So our eyes can focus on this one. Our eyes can focus on this one, right? Only. But they have all the luxury of this breathing space for our eyes to rest. Okay, so we are going to focus on this one only. We want to focus on this text and also these two characters, right? Concept of duality. So this one is one of the concept that you can put in your presentation. It is symbolism of duality. This one is a yin and yang. Okay. For instance, okay, I think size is also matters because the bigger size of this poster, the more attention you can bring from your audience later, right? Contrast, manipulation of ideas. Okay, if you can see from the first one, it's showing this kind of two thing, right? If you can see, can you see it? So it has two different things to show. The one inside the mouth, and also the other one who is the bigger person. Okay, and then this one is also they want to create some kind of two different background. Okay, so this one is manipulation of ideas. This one is also you can put it in your presentation board later. Okay, this one is to create the moods of the poster, the same thing. If you can see from here, this one is the real Batman and Superman. Okay, it is very fierce, something like that. It is very committed, something like that. But for the second one, they are showing the Lego who represent the Batman and Superman. So perhaps the second one, it is not really as serious as the first one. Okay. This one is also combination of what's this? Combination of design elements. Okay. Okay, you can see a lot of design elements that you can see from here. Action subject, this is the subjects that you want to focus more. For instance, this one is also can be applicable to your presentation boards later. So your main subject is the one that you did for your 3D model. Okay, for instance. So perhaps the perspective is the biggest thing that you want to show in your presentation board. This one is the character. Maybe it's not really related to your presentation board. Okay, subject. For the poster design, this one is Marilyn Monroe. Okay, this one is he is the most, I think the most graphic design people do for her. Okay, and then painting by Leonardo da Vinci. Sorry, an icon most manipulated. So there are like various of Mona Lisa that you can see, right? For instance, these are the manipulation that they did for Mona Lisa, for instance. Okay, because this one is very famous painting. Subject and poster design, composition and angle. Okay, if you can see from here, the composition and angle. This one is basically based on the angle. They want to show this character. They want to show the second character, but the camera angle is taken from another perspective. Okay, so half of the things is taken from this character, and then the another one is taken from the another character, right? This one is also the same thing. They want to show this composition. Okay, if you can see, this one is taking from the angle is taking from the top of this person who are selling things. Okay, this is Dr. Fawaz. This is we want to show the angle of taking the photograph. Okay. Okay. This one, as I said before, because this one is related to the measured drawing. So this example is taken from this the thing that has been presented by your super senior before this. Okay, so the poster requirement that we require will need to have the project names, same as yours. You need to have the title of your building that you have chosen, and then you will need to have the photography of installation process. Okay, this one perhaps it is not applicable to you because you cannot get all this installation process. You will need to have your individual and also the group members, name of a Beastmaster, your UTM logo. Okay, so this is a very basic things that you need to put in your design. But can you comment on this design? Basically based on what I have presented before this. How do you see this kind of layout? the composition of this thing. Can you read it properly, guys?
Too
As
wordy.
for
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
Too wordy.
Too many wordings, right?
Too many wordings.
yeah.
They have all this thing over here, and then you need to read everything over here, right? So that's why before this, on last Thursday, I think I have put in some of your board's presentation. You need to reduce the wording. Okay, try to turn it into diagrams. For instance, if you are talking about this owner of the house, right? And then you just if you want to talk about the son and the daughter and so on, and then you then just put it on the chart, organization chart, family chart, for instance. Okay, so this one is the father, for instance. This one is the father. This one is the daughter. This one is the son, and then this one is the grandchildren, your children, for instance, right? So those are the things. And how about the breathing space that we mentioned before? How about the breathing space? Do you think that it has ample breathing space, the white space, or it is too cramped?
Yeah, it's so crowded. The information is all in there.
Right? So okay, so there are less of breathing space, the white space, and then we are we tend to hit to read here and there. We don't know where to start and where to stop. All right. So that's why we need to also about the flow of presentation and so on. Okay. Right. This one is another example. Okay. Okay, I just put it here. Grid lines which are not consistent. For instance, they have this kind of like I asked you before this. Did you use this reference line during your composition of boards using Photoshop? Okay, they have this reference line over here and then someone over here. They have over here. Okay, and then how about this one? This one is also, I think, because of this image, right? So it is not really pleasant to see. Drawings which are not clear due to that line weight error. Okay, this one is you need to try to avoid this one. Drawings which are not clear due to line weight error. Okay. Be careful on line quality when using white lines on dark background. Okay, this one is another things that we always highlight in our major drawing poster presentation. Students they tend to do something like white line into black background, for instance, like this one. But if you are not very be careful, it can be solid. Okay, so you need to make sure that the line quality is there so that we can read the presentation. For instance, this one, right? They have all this kind of solid wall over here, so it cannot be read. How do we want to read this one as timber planks? Because it is already solid all over, right? So seems like something which is made of concrete, right? How about this one?
Doctor,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt, but I have a question.
Hmm.
For our presentation board, we need to include the drawing. Do we need to consider the line width and the scale, or we can just put not to scale as
I
for
think
the drawing?
for this presentation it not necessarily have to put your skill drawing because like I mentioned, the one that I've shown here is the measured drawing.
Oh yeah,
It is good if you can have the scale, but I'm not sure if you can get all the scale because you are not drawing the building, right?
yeah.
You are only
Mm.
taking it from the secondary resources, I'm afraid, right? So
Yes.
if you cannot get that one, you can just ignore, right? But
Okay.
for this
All
measure
right.
drawing, because you measure the drawing, you measure the building, so that's why you need to put all this skill. But
Yeah. Okay.
on another note, if you can find something, if the drawing can have this kind of scale bar, can you get this one? If you
Yeah.
can get this
They
scale bar,
included. Included the scale bar.
So if the scale bar is included, you can also take it and put it in your presentation, because the scale bar, no matter how big you are trying to
Resize the drawing.
yes, to resize the drawing, so the scale bar will also be following the new size, the new scale of the drawing. Okay.
Alright, okay, understood.
So if
Thank
you
you,
if you
Dr.
can so it is only if you can get the scale bar, but if it's not, you cannot take it. It is okay if you don't put all the scale, right?
Alright,
It's better to have the skill, but if you cannot get it, it's okay, because this one is only your project one. Okay.
thank you, Dr.
Okay, this one is also the same thing that I want to highlight. Be careful on the line quality when using white lines on dark background. Okay, and even the text. Okay, sometimes students, they tend to have this kind of white text, but the background is not dark enough. Okay, so try to be careful so that everything can be read. Be careful on line quality when using shadow casting, right? This one is also when they put this kind of shadow casting and so on. Try to make sure that the drawing is still intact and can be read, right? Using photography, sample of poster design. Okay, this one, the first one, it is only using the photography. Okay, they have all this kind of photography at the below side of this poster presentation, and then they just insert some small illustration on the top, right? So this one is also another example. Okay, I'm not saying the example that I have shown here is the best one, or this one is very wrong and so on. Okay, I just want for you to think about it, how to make sure that everything can be read easily. I think this one is one of the good example of doing measured drawing poster presentation. Okay, if you can see from here, they have this title group location at the beginning of the poster, right? And then this one is the owner of the house. They have the photography of this owner, and then they are talking about the history of the house, perspective of the house. Choose the best image to represent overall look of the house. Okay, like I said before, if you are doing the 3D model for your building, okay, try to make sure that the main perspective that you want to show in your presentation board, you take it from the overall side of the building, or you are taking the most interesting part of the building that you want to highlight, right? Try to make sure that it is very pleasant to see. Okay, and then this one is a combination of the main drawings. Okay, at the second, this one is at the second board. Okay, and also they are talking about the spaces. So another thing, you also can see the flow of presentation. They are starting with the title, and then they go to the history and the owner of the house, and then after that they go to this main drawing to show the spatial arrangement and so on. Okay, and then the summary of the house. This one is the summary. Okay, this one is also another example. This one is not the summary, it is an introduction. Okay, it started with the introduction. And then we have the title and location. Okay, mind you that they are using this, like I said before, the very bold and very big title, because this one is the main attention. If somebody is looking to your presentation board, they will see this one first, right? This one is the perspective of the house. This one is on the house owners and so on, right? This one is also another example, the same thing. Okay, they are trying to, actually they are combining these two presentation board. So this one is one A1, this one is another A1. Okay, but they are trying to make sure that everything is can can complete to each other. So they are creating something in between that can be combined in both situation, right? Sorry, in both poster. Okay. This one also the same thing. Another good example of measured drawing poster presentation. Okay, I'll share to you this recording later, so that you can just perhaps you want to research on this one. Okay, this one is the model requirement that we require for our measured drawing. Perhaps you are going to also produce this one in your measured drawing class later. So I just showed to you earlier, right? So this one is architecture model. What is an architecture model? It is a type of scale model, a physical representation of a structure built to study aspect of an architectural design. Okay, model should be using appropriate scale and materials depending on group discussion. Base for the model should be provided. Sorry, this one is on the base. So it is better if you have this kind of base or platform to support your model. Okay. Like I said before, I think somebody has asked me about he wants to do the whole house for this project. Okay, you can do the whole house, or you can just pick the one that are more related to the study that you conducted for your presentation board. And if you want to do something like the whole house, you can do something like this one. Some part is fully covered and some part is half covered. For instance, they open up this roof so that we can appreciate all these pattern and rafters and so on. Okay, so that we can appreciate the structure underneath the roofing, right? So, and also for this, even for this walls, perhaps some of the walls, you are taking this wall finishes, for instance, because you want to expose the structure of the walls. Okay. Common material use. That's why I'm asking whether Maho and Abi can get all these things, because I'm not sure about your hometown and so on, whether you live nearby all this stationery shop and so on, right? You can use cardboard, you can use chipboard, corrugated cardboard. Usually corrugated cardboard, they use it for the roofing. Okay. Modeling clay, I'm not sure. Modeling clay, if you are doing a very traditional Malay house, we don't need this modeling clay because modeling clay is always used for some kind of concrete area, right? You can use also balsa wood. You can use white foam board. Plaster of Paris also the same kind. Uh, it is almost the same function as modeling clay. Okay, and also you can also use the 3D printing, but also same like modeling clay, plaster of Paris, and ABS plastic. Usually we use it on this concrete kind of building instead of timber building. Okay. Okay, this one is example of a measured drawing that we have done before this. Rumah Tongkonan Toraja, South Sumatra, Indonesia. Okay, the one that I think I have presented before this during the lecture input, right? So if you can see here, the detailing of this model, they have even this one, the buffalo horns and so on, all right? But mind you that this project is a short semester project. It is a 8-week project, not as yours. Yours is only 3-week project. So I'm not expecting you to do all these details, right? If you don't have time to settle it until this one is okay. Okay, but yeah, the most important thing you need to know is how to construct this thing. For instance, you are showing this pattern and rafter on this roofing, okay, and then how you put this kind of a top roof on top of it. All right, so this one is also the same thing. They expose one part, they expose this left part of this house to show the structure of the roof, okay, and then another one they have covered it with this atop, right? And like I said before, because this one is only a 3 weeks project, you can just take this portion, only half of it, right? So don't stress yourself too much. We just want you to learn on the structure, on the cultural context of this kind of housing, right? This one is another example of rumah Bu Igan Bacuk Kelantan. It is a Chinese village house in Kelantan. Okay, this one is also the same thing. They have covered some part of it with roof, and then some part of it is exposed because we want to see the roof structure. Okay, and also we have provided this kind of a human figure to show that you are using the right scale. Okay, for instance, if you are not sure that whether you have fulfilled the requirement of a 1 to 50 scale, okay, you are not sure about it, so you can just cut off some of the cardboard and then make sure that it is the height of these people is a common height of people. For instance, it is 1.6 or 1.7 in height, meter height, right? So this is the same thing. Okay, and then mind you, because this one is a 8 week 8 week 8 week duration of projects, and it is also done in groups. Okay, that's why they can do all these things. It's very detailed, okay, because it is done in group. But yours will be individual project for this physical model, right? So I am not expecting you to do all these things. Like I said before, perhaps you just take one portion of it, right? As long as you know how is the construction of this wall, for instance, how is construction of this roof, and how is the construction of this all these columns, right? This one is we did the whole inventory of the whole kampung, the whole village. Okay, it was done in 2017. Okay, we measure all these buildings and so on, and it is also done in big group. So don't worry, because you are only doing it in individual, right? You also have this kind of this one, like I said before. This one is a concrete mosque, which is located in Ipoh, Perak. Okay, so they did it using, this one is ABS plastic printer. This one is using 3D printer. And because the 3D printer is very expensive, the whole minaret, it costs about 250 only for the minaret. Okay, because the for the 3D printer, they use it basically based on how many grams you are using the ABS plastic. Okay, and another part, this one is using cardboard. And if you can see the detailing here on the doors and also, and so on, they are using the laser cutter printer. Okay, so those are the technology that you can use, but I'm not sure because you are staying in your own home, right? So perhaps you cannot get access to all this kind of technology or machines. I'm not sure about Maho. Perhaps you can get all these things because Japan is very advanced in terms of the technology and so on, but not in Malaysia. Okay, this one is Masjid Khairiyah Lenggeng. The same thing that I said before. We just expose some of the structure, and then some of the structure is um, is uh, covered by this roof, right? If you can see here, there are a lot of students doing it. Sometimes it is 6 or 7% per group. So they managed to present the report, the presentation board, and also this model. This one is another one. It is made entirely by cardboard and also the laser cutter printer. Okay, for instance, even this one is using the laser cut printer. Okay, one is another one, Masjid Panglima kita, the one that I have shown before this. This one is the minaret that I said before. It's cost 250 just for this minaret only. Okay, and all of these things they are using the cardboard. Okay, and the detailings, this one, the detailing is using the laser cutter. It's okay. I hope that everybody will be managed to come to UTM one day during the short semester later, so that we can um, at least have the experience of using all these things to produce this thing, right? And then This one is also the one of the example. They are using a lot of this thing is using the laser cutter. Okay, this one is the laser cutting. This one is also laser cutting. This one is the clay mold. They are using the clay mold instead of 3D paintings because the 3D paintings is very expensive. So they just produce the clay mold. They produce the mold and then they put the clay on it, and then it been dried and it become this thing. Alright. So this one is also using the laser cutter and so on. Sekolah Melayu Kampung Kuchai. This one is also another example. Okay, this one is the original house. Sorry, original school. This one is also original school, but we are doing the 3D model, basically based on the measured drawing. What else? Okay. And if you have ample time to do all these things, you can do that, right? But this one is also using the mold. Okay. Okay, this one is only we want to test the shadow casting, openings and materials. So this is Associate Professor Dr. Pawaz Zakir. Okay, we test it to put a shadow casting. So we use this torchlight flash to and then we get this kind of very nice shadow casting over here. Okay, this one is for the moss mimbar. Okay, this one is also using the laser cutter. Okay, this one is the presentation board produced by your previous seniors. Okay. Sorry, this one is another project. This one is the project that they have done in their first year. The final project for the first year. Okay, that's all. Sorry, I think I have taken too long time to explain all these things. Okay, I thought I just want to show it very briefly, but I think it is already 10 o'clock. So sorry, Curly. Guys, do you have any question on this?
No.
So that one is only an overview. It's supposed to be okay, but like I said, I think I have taken so much time to explain everything to you. But hopefully, it will be very beneficial to you so that you can implement it in your not only for your project one, you are also going to use this one for your project two later, right? Okay, guys. So can we just proceed with your progress presentation?
When Dr. Can.
Okay. What do you have for your class today? May I know? For your class of UHIT today, do you have any assignment or presentation?
No, maybe just lecture for today.
How about next week on the 15th?
Not sure, Doctor. Wait,
Still
let
not
me
sure
see.
yet.
Yes, sir. Oh, sorry, because I want to check on the 15th November. It's okay. Nanti later you'll check and tell me later. Because we will have a seminar on 15 November. So perhaps the Jabatan wants you to attend the seminar instead of your class. But I'm not sure if you have something very, very important in your class on the 15th.
Later we'll update you, Doctor.
Okay,
Okay.
right. Really? Are you showing your screen? Are you sharing your screen?
Oh, I'm the first one, right? Okay, okay. Okay,
Supposed to
okay.
be there is another one
Yeah,
before you, right?
yeah, I
But
don't know.
nobody was.
Me, doctor.
Oh, Shami.
Oh,
What do you want to present first?
You want to present first or I?
Syahmi?
Or you want kali?
Oh, you want first, you first go first. Then you don't want, I first. Based on you, because you are the first one.
If Syahmi not presenting this morning, he will be in the last one. Oh, okay. He is
Okay.
sharing something. Okay. Okay, I want you to comment based on the one that I have presented before. Everybody. Takut nak komen? Guys. Takut.
I think basically dah okay lah, dah ada content kat sana. Already have a content. Just
Ya
need
lah
to
tu.
touch up a little bit.
Dia takut kan?
Okay lah. Maybe the color is a bit dark for the bottom perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Syahmi, can you zoom out until we can see the whole thing? Okay. Is this the I'm not sure. This one is the overall A1, is it?
This one only. The model ni lain tak tu? Model ni nanti I buat yang baru.
Patutlah pelik. Okay. We can check the content first. Okay, sorry. We can check the overall thing first. Okay. Can somebody comment on this one? Basically based on the presentation before. Anyone? Okay, Nurin. Tadi Nurin
Yes,
talking
saya.
about it is too dark.
Oh, yeah, I was talking about the color at the bottom of the perspective down there. For me, it's a bit maybe you terangkan sikit. Yes.
Ni juga but
Sometimes the problem is because you don't print this one, especially during this online submission and so on. We tend to see perhaps our screen brightness is
Yeah.
already okay, but sometimes in another person's computer, the brightness is quite dull and so on. So that's why you need to print this one before you submitting lah. Especially if you are going to submit a hard copy, right? But you need to be careful if you are also, if this one is only an online submission, right? You need to be careful on the color code that you are using. Okay, for instance, you need to control the opacity of this kind of colors. Okay. What else? Anybody who wants to comment on Shahmi's? Tag is not justified. You mean this one, right?
dia punya what? The text I haven't macam apa tu? Buat dia straight.
It's all over, Shami.
Yes.
For instance, like I asked before, do you use the reference line? The reference line, for instance, this one, you have this thing, right? And then suddenly it's become like this. It is all over. So it is not really organized. So make sure that you use this reference line in order for you to control how people read these things. Okay?
Actually I noticed that but macam waktu saya edit tu dia tak ada effect and then I macam tunggu kawan saya datang tolong sebab saya tak tahu sangat guna AI.
Oh, you are using AI.
Yes, I first time guna AI.
Okay, but you need to be very quick lah, right? Because the submission is on next week, and on upcoming Thursday we don't have the studio because of it is Deepavali, right? And did you get the circular telling that there is no class on this coming Wednesday and upcoming Sunday.
Yes.
Okay, so there are a lot of class that will be missing. So you make sure that you will be, you need to grasp it faster before the submission day. Okay.
Yeah,
This one also the same thing. This one is also the same thing. It is all over. Or what you can do is to make it more balanced. Perhaps you can find another design principle. Okay, it is not only balance, repetition, and what is that? What is this?
hierarchy.
Hierarchy, right? So it is not only this, right? Perhaps you can have another one so it is become more balanced, for instance. And then you need to have the description over here. Are you plan to put all this description?
Yes, I'm planning to do the description at the bahagian kosong tu.
Okay, alright.
But only
And
small.
then, okay. Anyone knows what is the minimum size for your font for an A1 presentation board?
12 or 14.
12 or 14 is only for a report, right? A report for A4. Okay. But if you are okay, 16 or 18. Ame is saying 16 or 18. Okay, usually in our, I think I usually go for 18. 18 is the minimum font for your presentation board for A1. Because when we produce this kind of presentation and we paste it on the wall, okay, somebody will have some kind of the dimension between the people and also the presentation board is like 1 meter away or 1.5 meter away, right? So 18 font size is the minimum size that can help them to read your presentation. So make sure that this one is what font? Sorry, the size of the font
18.
18. Okay, so this one is okay. 18 is good, alright? I'm not sure why you are using this kind of colors on top.
Oh, actually patutnya warna merah, but yang warna hitam ni I malas tukar jadi merah balik.
Malas
I know, I forgot later.
Dia jawab malas. Okay. So try to make it more standardized lah if you are using red. But on another note, if you are using red on this background, can it be really be red? Boleh baca betul-betul tak?
Boleh ke? Sebab the red should be tak kuat, tak really bercanggah dengan the background.
Sorry.
Kami tengah present. Kami tengah tengok orang present.
Who's talking? Okay. Alright. So Syami, try to make sure that if you want to use this kind of color, try to make sure that you control the opacity of this background. So background can be more lighter. Okay.
Yeah,
If not, you just use this.
Panjang.
I think Hazmi, can you please turn off your microphone?
Sorry, doctor.
Okay. Right. Okay. And on another note, I think this one, it's blended with each other. For instance, this one, right? I'm not sure why it is cut over here. Kenapa dia tak tinggi lagi?
Oh, the angle lah.
Yes, do you know what I mean? It is blended with this one. Dia macam dia tak ada breathing space like I said before, right? Suddenly the sky is competing with this material. Okay. I think this one. Perhaps you need to lift it so that you can see the overall perspective of this house, for instance, dekat sini. Faham tak, Syami?
Faham? Maksudnya tinggal space khas untuk tu lah. The killer drawing.
Um, sorry. This one is also wrong. Yep. For instance, this one is your space. Okay. Okay, this one. And then you have this roof, right? And this roof also, you need to prepare some space for the sky. Okay, try to make sure that it is not really, this one is, because this thing is quite interrupting. This one, okay, try to make it more, perhaps you just susun it here, right? So prepare the space for the sky, for the breathing space, okay? And also, I'm not sure why this one is big and this one is small.
Sebab tu key plan yang tu side plan.
So why don't it be in the same scale?
Sebab side plan dia kecil sikit. I just think that side plan macam kena lagi kecil.
But you can have this kind of the same size kan? Cuma scale dia kecil. Faham tak?
Faham tak?
Okay. Alright. And then another thing, the whole margin. Margin ni macam tak tetap. This one margin kat sini. Sini, kat sini pula. Okay. So please use the reference line tu. Kalau tak, dia macam here and there. So dia ada reference sini, sini, sini. Okay.
Okay dah.
Ini belum content lagi tau. We haven't touched about the content. So, okay lah. Is this the best thing on how you want to show this? The roof is resembling something which is related to this hands.
Yes, satu.
Is this the best way?
The best way.
Tengoklah dulu Okay. And some of the things I think it is too big. For instance, this hand is too big if compared to this house, which is this house. Perhaps it is more important to show because we want to show the details of the house, right? So perhaps this hand can be smaller. Okay, so you need to know what is your priorities in the whole presentation.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if there are a lot of things that you still need to be amended. Okay, just try your best for this one. Okay, and then your physical model. Yeah. What do you have for your physical model?
I'm doing the overall view of the model. But I baru siap the form. I haven't buat finishing and the doors yet.
How do you plan to do the doors?
Using balsa wood, I potong ikut the size of the doors and just lekat dia.
Are you going to do the whole house?
Betul?
You are going to do the whole house, right? For your model?
Yes. Yes, betul.
Is there any exposed area that you want to show the structure and so on?
No, betul.
Okay. Tapi dia jadi plain lah. Dia jadi macam very, you just want to show the form, is it?
Yes, betul.
Okay. So, tak apalah, try lah dulu on this one. Okay. Cuma, on another note, because you are doing on the materials, I thought you want to show something which area that you can be exposed so that you can expose the materials. I'm not sure. And also, ataupun what you can do is the material, because you were talking about the stone. So where is the stone? So it can be seen on underneath the house, right?
Yes.
So even the things too you highlight in your model presentation.
Okay.
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 So it's okay. You still have time until next week. So if you have anything, you can just PM me after this.
Okay.
Right? Okay,
I will
Syamil.
update you my board nanti.
Alright. Okay.
Ya dah.
Next.
Hello, next is me.
Yes, you.
Yo. Okay, good morning everyone.
Lama kali tunggu.
Lama.
Okay.
Boleh nampak screen saya tak? Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, alright. Okay, this one is my last week progress here. And I managed to like copy into my second board their layout composition, which is a horizontal one, and some of the the words at here. How the style. I try to make my presentation put inside my presentation board. Nampak consistent sikit. This one is my okay. Here I put my perspective first, so my pillar perspective first. Then I baru start my deal macam this one. But my style is totally different with my friend. But
It's
I mean,
okay because this one is
okay.
individual work.
So-
Just that you need to standardize the template. For instance, like I said before, the title, and then you need to have this. I think for everybody, perhaps you can do like this. Let me conteng. I have requested to annotate your board. Okay, guys, for everybody, I think it's better if we do this like this. You have this group work, right?
Yeah.
For instance, you have let's say curly. Okay. Let's say you have curly. You have Amir. You have who else?
Divya has me.
Divya, and then you have Hazmi, right? And then perhaps in your individual individual sorry, I cannot. Okay, you have this one. This one is good already. But you bold your name. For instance, this one is bold.
Alright,
Credit is
alright.
bold. And it is I think you need to put your metric number on below. Let's say B120020. Amir pun the same thing, okay? So everybody is having all the group names, but you bold your name. Can we
Okay.
agree on this?
Can.
Okay.
This
How about other group? Shahmi's group. Are you okay with this one?
Ya dah.
You put all the group names, but you bold your name.
Ya dah.
Okay. Okay. What about Ain? Win. Awin?
Yeah. Yes,
Are you here?
Yeah, I'm
So
here.
can we agree on this? You put everybody's name, and then because this one is individual work, you just bold your name. For this one, Curly is going to bold her name, but the group members are still there also. Boleh?
Do we need to put our full name like with Binti? If so,
Panjang
I
If
think it's gonna be long.
try to figure out how. If cannot, you
Okay.
can just put your name and your metric number.
All right. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and then bold your name, right? So it is
Alright.
going to be applicable for all groups, right? Yeah, okay. And you
Okay.
have
Alright.
your work-based master. Actually, you need to put all this design tree, SBEA2138 and so on, but I'm not sure if you can put it somewhere. Tapi yang penting, the most important thing is you have all these group names and your names, and also work-based. Alright. Okay.
Alright.
Right, Kali?
Okay. So So based on our board template that my teammate gave me, which is Amir, then I figure out my.
Are you talking?
Sorry. So I saw my team is, I think is because of the template, right? So I think our team is going for the warm color that side.
Okay.
So this one is my composition, but at the end I also changed to another one. But this one I still need to adjust it lah.
Okay, I think this one is better from the previous one that you have shown, because you have this the thing that you want to highlight here is on the exploded axonometric, right?
The skeleton maybe
Okay. Wait.
without the exploded axonometry.
Mm.
But this one I still need to make some adjustment because this one is the 8th generation, so I need to make it. I just simply put, so I need some time to adjust.
Okay. But you also need to make sure that the color choice that you have chosen, for instance, for the introduction, because it is too blended with the background. So I'm not sure. Perhaps you need to control the opacity of the background. Okay. And then usually we don't use all the caps lock. I'm not sure. Are you going to use all this caps lock?
What is the meaning of caps lock?
Sorry, capital letter.
Or capital letter?
Hmm.
Well, because my previous diploma lecturer, he teach me that actually every architecture presentation board should be capital letter or in capital letter. Then I just okay.
Oh yeah. Haha. How come I don't know?
So don't know. He said, then I just follow.
Okay,
Follow the way what he taught.
Okay, because I think because you are using all capital letters, it is competing with each other. Like I said before, macam everybody wants to, uh, something like we are shouting, "I am here, so please read me," something like that. Do you understand?
Understand.
So, okay, it's okay. You can
Maybe
read
I
me
can
in that
change
one.
to the change lah. Capital and a small capital.
I'm not sure. Usually, I will prefer you to have this common kind of things. When we do the report writing, we need to follow all these capital letters, where to put these small letters and so on. Okay, that's why I'm asking, are you going to use this kind of style? But you saying because based on your previous, you always use this kind of presentation. It's okay because this one is your style, so you don't have to change. I just want to know the reason behind it. Okay.
Oh.
And then another thing, like I said before, it is too blended with your background. So perhaps you try to reduce this, especially this one. It is too blend. Do you understand?
Understand.
Okay.
I also understand. I see it here. Okay. Also too plan.
And then I'm not sure if you are using this reference line, because something it's here and there. For instance, this one. Why it is?
I still need some adjustment.
Okay. So try to make it more organized. Don't make it like this one. It's quite messy. We don't have this kind of reference, kan? You haven't put all this reference line, right? So
Still not.
what about the content? Did you find all this content? The you were talking about the history.
The location, the concept, the construction. Do not add on all the words yet.
Okay, for the location, are you talking about what? Is it only the kampung? Or what is perhaps the strength of the kampung, the history of the kampung? Okay, the history is there. Is it? History of Roma Cik Nazim, you started with this. What's that? I cannot read.
Kampung Pan.
Oh, this one should be the timeline, is it? This one, right? Okay.
I need to zoom in a little bit.
Uh-uh. Can you zoom in? Okay, 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 okay.
For this, I still not like not.
You see something like this one? It is blended with the background. Okay, this one is the
This one
history.
is
And
accident. This one is accident. Actually, like this one accident.
okay, so you need to check on that one. From spelling.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But currently, I think it is here and there. You were talking about the history, and then you're talking about the concept. Okay, and then how come it is suddenly expansion? Is it related to the history or the house development?
Development. I put inside the house.
I think you need to have the proper title for this one. It is not suddenly expansion of the ground floor. Or for instance, because you are doing this history, right? It is part of the history. For instance, this one should be here. And then the concept is something else. So
Here,
it should be moved here.
here is macam.
Hmm?
Then is at here. Then is at here. Then like not like not put at here.
And then
I got do the
because tak muat ke?
this time what?
Itulah. The concept ni. Sekejap. What about this one? The Kedah tradition. Ataupun house development. For instance, you were talking about the history on top, right? And then this one is the continuation of that history, right?
Yeah, continue.
So this one perhaps the house not the expansion of the ground floor. Expansion of the ground floor can be in the description. It is not the title.
This time I
Okay.
don't know what the title I want to add, so I just simply put inside.
That's why it's confusing. Because we're talking about history and then suddenly something is pop up in between and then you continue doing this history. I know because you cannot fit this one kan on top. That's why it is suddenly put over there. Can you zoom out? Really? Okay lah. Nanti you tengok balik yang this one ni. Ataupun I'm not sure if you can change this one. So it will be the flow of presentation is more organized. For instance, you were talking about history. And then we were talking about okay lah, boleh lah. And then make sure yang this kind of things it is overlap, but not to overlap on the important part. For instance, you want to show the skeleton of this roof, right? So I think try to not to overlap with another structure because this one you want to show the structure and then another structure on top. So nanti you can
I will adjust.
Yes. Try to resize, I think.
Then I just take here, put inside, take here, put inside, take here, put inside.
Perhaps because you haven't really looked into the reference line and so on, so that's why it is here and there. Okay, it's okay. You can try and error again and make sure that everything is in order. In order. How about your reference missing? Reference. You need to have all these references. Same
Oh,
like
no,
Shami before this.
done by me.
Okay. How about your physical model?
I haven't studied because I start a little bit, but I am doing 1.50 model, right? So I found out the model is too small.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Which
then
part are you taking?
I will taking whole model, but I am not doing whole model. I will my model will be half, then half of my plan. I have plan, then half of my model is a skeleton one. Then half of I do.
Okay lah. But are you going to put all the whole house
No,
Is it?
no. I think half of the house. Half.
in the which one? The front part, is it?
The front part, yeah.
Okay. So you need to show the arch, the one that you have here, right? Hmm.
But then
Is
now
it
I
really?
my
Is it really here, or you just want to show? What do you want to show over here? You have
I
this
just want to
arch.
show ornaments is very simple one. It's not like the fancy ornaments. But I don't. I try to merge into like two picture merge inside one picture.
Okay. That's one. It can be graphic designer, but I want to know why the things is here. Are you? Is this related to the concept that you want to highlight here?
One of the concept I hear. Their ornaments is not like very susah one. Very simple. Everything is simple then but functional. Ornament is for ventilation.
Okay. Okay lah. I think because you are too focused on this, doing this poster, so you need to be very fast in producing your physical model.
Still
Okay.
got 1 week right?
Yalah.
Ah. The third part for my model 1.50 skill I think it's too small. Can I just make it like 1.25?
I think can because in the brief that has been provided Dr. Izura, she said that it can be 1 to 50, 1 to 50, 1 to 25, right? But
It's only these two skill lah. I want to turn one to 35 maybe. But I see inside the brief they only have 1.25 and 1.50.
you want to do what? 1 to?
1 to 35 mungkin
1 to 35? Cannot.
very big but 1
1
to
to
35
35, we don't use it in UTM. Either you use, because it is quite odd, right? Odd
yeah
number.
quite odd.
Usually we will use 1 to 50, sorry, 1 to 100, 1 to 50, 1 to 25, 1 to 20. What about 1
1 to
to
20.
20? But 35 cannot, because it is very hard to, we cannot imagine it. For instance, we don't have the scale ruler and we just want to read it from our experience, right? So it's very hard to read. You understand? So perhaps if you don't want to use 1 to 25, perhaps you can try 1 to 20. Or you mean that you want to make it smaller, right?
I want to make it more detailed because 1 to 50 is too small for my problem.
So you
0.3
try
I can
either,
have.
so either 1 to 25 or 1 to 20.
But then if I want to 20 or 1 to 25 my model will become more bigger, right? Then
Mm-mm.
I put will I see the A4 paper maybe can
Just
come A4
that's
paper
why
big more sikit.
that's why I'm asking you, which part are you taking? Are you taking the whole thing, right? Or you are taking only this facade?
Taking try to take half lah.
Half.
Because the facade my friend already take already.
But actually we don't really, actually because this one is individual work, right? We don't ask you to, like, you are sharing the same thing with your colleague.
Okay.
Okay.
How?
For instance, perhaps your friends is doing the same thing, but it's okay because you are in your own home, unless you are here, and then that's why if everybody is here, we are going to divide it into several part. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. It's okay. You try to figure out the best scale and also the best part that you are going to put your physical model, but make sure you follow the requirement of not exceeding than 1 A4, right?
Yeah, A4 larger than
Mm-mm.
A5.
So it's okay. You try to figure out first the best scale and also the best part if you're going to put in your physical model later. Okay?
Right.
Right.
Thanks, Dr. Fat.
Okay. And also, I think for everybody, you can also use like this one, right? For instance, I'm taking this thing like this, right? So perhaps this one you can put the wall. This one you can put the wall. This one is so half you can put the wall, the roofing for the half only, but this one is exposed. It is very good for your own understanding of the structure. Okay,
Yeah.
try not to hide everything because the more you research about it, the more you understand about the timber construction. Right? Okay. Okay, Kelly.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Fat.
I think this is a good start. Okay, but there are a lot of things to do still. Okay, so make sure that everything will be more organized later. Okay. Oh, you are going to your class, is it? In 10 minutes.
Yes.
I'm taking too much time. Sorry. So how?
Extend lah kot, doktor.
Kejap. I nak tengok WhatsApp. Sign. So we still have 10 students. 10 students. Can you give me your Miro link first? So
Can,
that
doctor.
I can just browse through during your class, and then after this I'm going to meet you again at 2 o'clock, alright? And then so that it is more faster. Boleh tak? It's okay. You can just I think you can just PM me, kot. If you are too
Alright.
shy to put your Miro link in the group, you can just PM. Okay. Udin, Zevi, Awin, Ain, Maho, Mirza, Hazmi, Ami, Divya, Abi. So you just PM me your Miro link. So can while you are having your class, I'll just browse through the submission. Okay.
Okay, doktor.
Right. Okay.
Okay, doktor.
So please go to your class first, and then I'll check the Miro link.
Doctor, can you share the QR code again?
Tak nak. Sekejap. Apa sudah terlambat?
Tak, tadi masuk-masuk dah tak share dah.
Okay. Why is attendance is only 9%? Where are the other 3%? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Lagi dua siapa?
Saya doktor juga.
Siapa tu? Abi.
Iya doktor.
Abi and Mirza, is it?
Yes doktor.
Okay. Wait now. Before you go to your class. Then, Mirza.
Ya doktor. Saya dah scan lah. Saya dah screenshot lah. Jadi jap.
Okay guys, I think you can class dismiss just for a moment, and then you can just continue on 2 o'clock. Okay. You just give me your Miro link so that I can check it while you are away. Okay. So thank you everybody for this morning session. I think I will upload this one on the YouTube so that you can rewatch the presentation that I have mentioned before. Okay? All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you, doctor.
Okay. All right.
Doctor.
Yeah.